Hey, what's up? Yeah, let me try to get the volume and everything adjusted. What's up, people? Okay, might have to get this running. Anybody here? Mm-mm-mm. Let me get that webcam going. Hey, damn, you are loyal, man. I think I've seen you in the last like 10 streams or something. Hey, what's up, everyone? Sort of just trying to clean out the lab environment here. I gotta make sure I don't accidentally leak any, customer references or something. These VMs, I mean, I use them for all kinds of stuff, so just gotta make sure everything's set up here, and then I'll start the show. Damn, this music! I'm vibing so hard to this, man. This drum step sort of stuff just gets me going. Probably a bit shameful admitting that, but it really does. I think I'm filling up my CPU and memory resources pretty hard here as well. Yeah. Already at 50 gigs of memory with all these VMs, man. Try to close out some stuff. So how is the volume, music, sort of? Is the mic good? Mic looks pretty good. Is the music too loud or too far away? I want to get it. I don't want it to be annoying, but I also don't want it to be like death quiet in here. Awesome. Perfect. That's what I like to hear. Can I just wipe all this? There we go. Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, this looks good. Delete this, delete that. Awesome. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes though. I think I don't want people missing out the first sort of introduction part. But in short, we are looking at something called BoffNet today by a very smart gentleman called CCOB, or called CCOB. His alias, at least online, is CCOB on GitHub, and I think it's Ethical Chaos on Twitter. Last stream I called him CCCOB. I don't know why. I mean, English is hard, man. Sometimes he just gets me. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done with the setup here. Thank you for the subscription. I think. Let me see if I can get that icon going. Okay, no, that's something else. It's not follower goal. Nope. Donation goal. Might be the donation stuff. I'll see. To whoever, yeah, thank you, C Control Byte, for following here. Hey, what's up, Waited? Okay. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, but we're looking at boff.net, so I'll start sending some links in the chat here. So you guys have something to reference. So it's basically sort of so usually when we do, we'll take a look at that later as well. But when you do execute assembly within Cobalt Strike. Oh wow, V3 did? How do you want it? Right, so it's sort of Usually in Cobalt Strike, when you do execute assembly, or when you do the default execute assembly, it's what we call a fork and run, which means that a new process will be spawned, suspended, injected into, and then whatever you're doing, the actual C# assembly will be executed in that process. Hey, NetBios. Awesome, you joined. And that's when you're dealing with sort of hardcore EDR solutions, that might be a problem. You don't necessarily want to do that unless you're in a position, where that would make sense. So BOFNet, along with a couple of other projects called Inline Execute Assembly, basically allows you to initialize the .NET runtime in your current process, and then do the classic reflective assembly stuff in the same process. And there's it's a sort of risk situation, because if you do that on your only beacon and it gets nuked, you're fucked. So obviously you either want to have persistency deployed or have a backup beacon going, maybe like a long haul beacon, like callbacks every hour or something. But if you know that if you inject out no matter what method, it will get picked up as suspicious. If it trigger a mem scan, your shellcode will end up getting scanned, you're fucked. Then it might be your only option to get to use some of the really good C# tools, like Sharp Chrome comes to mind, SharpHound, Ruby, stuff like that, right? Of course, some of them you can use using SOX proxies, but that's a whole other topic, really. Okay, so let me start over here. So we're pretty much at 6 o'clock my time, which is 4 p.m. UTC. So we're taking a look at a framework or a project by Ethical Chaos on Twitter, or CCOB on GitHub, called BOFNet. I'm linking in the chat here. Basically, it's a bridge between unmanaged and managed. So you can directly invoke, or you can initialize the .NET runtime in your currently active beacon using a BOF file, and then communicate with that using the same BOF file and an regressor script to execute assemblies in your current process, to load net executables in your current process. The main difference between this and something like the built-in execute assembly is that the execute assembly built into Cobalt Strike is a fork and run, which means that it spawns a new process, injects into that process, and then it does whatever. And in some scenarios, you might not be able to inject, or not do it, at least depending on your current context. Might not be able to do that without getting caught, right? So you take the risk and you run it in your current beacon instead. That's a whole other story why you don't want to do that, but that's sort of you gotta take a look. Once you land, you replicate in the lab. If whatever EDR solution doesn't like injection, you're gonna have to try to work around it the best way you can, and this is one of those ways. So we're gonna take a look at that, and I also wanted to show you. So Cobalt Strike also has this page over what it considers to be sort of safe commands and non-safe commands. Mr. Alvar shared that with me a while back. Let's see if I can actually find that. So give me a second. Cobalt Strike. There we go. OPSEC considerations for beacon commands. So this one is pretty old. It's back from 2017, but it still sort of applies, right? So it shows you every command that is API only. It shows you every command that does some sort of process execution, fork and run, all that stuff. I think this has... Okay, sorry. This is that is the old one. This seems to be the newer one. Yeah, this is the newest one. Sorry, forget that link. This one is the newest one. So if you go down to the post exploitation, let's actually bring this up in the VM. Don't know why I'm talking about this when I could be showing it. Give me a second. So let me share my VM here. Yeah, so the community kit looks dope, right? So I mean, it's a bad fucking time. I know we have known for quite a while that there's a pretty large community behind the Cobalt Strike aggressive scripts and now also the buffs, right? So them actually sort of embracing that and making a full list of it is pretty cool. It does sort of there are a bunch of questions we can start going into, in terms of like OPSEC considerations. Like, okay, they approved it. Does that mean that they actually sort of went through every line of code and make sure it's decent, or it's just more of a, okay, this sort of kind of works. We include it. Use at your own risk. Yeah, so the beacon command behavior server basically tells you these commands are API only, which are considered to be rather safe. If you do some of these, if you do a large network traffic on remote and local ports, that may trigger some EDRCM solutions. But in general, these are considered safe because they use only API calls. Then they have some housekeeping commands, less safe. Buffs obviously are as safe in my mind as the API only stuff, unless there's a generic detection. If you do a sequence of commands that gets picked up. Right, and then this is the fork and run part, right? So this basically injects into the process, creates a lot more noise. You want to avoid it. In this list, we can see that we have execute assembly. So how to get around this? Well, let's take a look at buff.net then. So my sort of goal today is to take the buff.net framework, and I'm going to modify SharpHound so that it doesn't drop a file on disk. Instead, it uploads the bytes back to the Cobalt-Strike beacon or the Cobalt-Strike client, as well as all the console write-down output gets redirected to the console using this sort of integration example here. So basically, if you want to use buff.net, you have to do some manual labor. You have to take your C# application, you have to integrate it, you have to put the the main, like the program.cs, change it to a class library. We'll do everything like that. We will do this today, but just in short, basically you have to do this short implementation where you inherit from beacon object, you implement the API, and you initialize the base, and then you have to do the add the override for the go function to make stuff go when you execute it. And then to use it, you do buff in it, initializes the framework, you can load whatever assembly you want, you can list them out using list assemblies, and then you can execute them, either by name or by full a namespace, class, and the function name. So we'll clone this down and we'll start taking a look at it. So let's I should have installed Git now, so I should be able to just clone this now. Buff.net, and then we will also need something we would like to integrate. Let's say SharpHound, mainly because it's something that typically drops to disk, so it's a good example of how to avoid it. So SharpHound 3, this looks to be the official repo, right? SharpHound 2, SharpHound 3, yeah. Let's pull that one down as well to the desktop. Okay, so I think the easiest here, so first off, we open SharpHound and we have to do some specific changes. So first we have to decide what net framework we want to target. If I recall correctly, SharpHound comes out of the box in framework 3.5. We'll see if I'm correct about that or not. Maybe 2 actually, we'll see. Because that will decide what file we want to reference, right? So so this is a 4.5, that should be fine. So if you go back to the buff.net Git repo, go to distributions, then go to net 4.0, since that's what we're targeting here. We can import, add a reference to this DLL, and that will give us access to the functions or the methods that we need to implement the class. So, but first off, we got to change it to a class library. That should be fine. And then in the project here, we'll go add reference, and then browse, desktop, buff.net, distribution 4.0, buff.net.dll. Let's add a reference to that. And then there's a couple of ways you can go, right? So where's the program.cs here? That's the async main. Where's the classic main? Yeah, no, that's for the PS stuff. So I don't think you can have an async main on 4.5. I thought that was only core. I think I'm just blind right now. Let's try to see if we can find another main. Okay. So apparently you can do that. That's just some warnings. It compiled just fine. Okay. So for this, we could either create a new class and just reference this. That will work fine, or we can integrate it into this. I think for making it the easy and most generic as possible, I think we'll make a new class. So let's create a new class called new item class. Let's just call it both SharpHound. Make that a public class. And then based on the documentation here, we should be implementing an abstract class from him called as much as beacon object. So we can just do that. And then again, the shortcut here is that when you edit like this, get a red bar. If you do control and then punctuation mark, you will get suggestions using BuffNet. Let's click enter on that. It automatically imports it. Now it's going to complain about missing implementations. So same again. Okay, actually that doesn't come about suggestion, so let's just do this. Like that. And then we can override the go function. And that's really it. So if you would compile this now and import this DLL using BuffNet and run it, it would just, you know, push back the arguments. It wouldn't actually trigger SharpHound. So we now have to reference to SharpHound. So where we can do that, I saw that in SharpHound here, this was private, so we have to make this a public. And we also have to make this a public. And then that's an async main, so we have to sort of cheat a bit, but sure. So that would be SharpHound and main, and then we just parse on the arguments. And then if this was an async function, we could have done a wait, but it isn't, so we have to do get awaiter and get result. Sort of kind of cheating, but it works fine. And that would technically work. But the problem now is that you wouldn't actually get any output from this. Because if you go through this does console write line. Console write line doesn't go back through the buff framework, and therefore it doesn't appear in the Cobalt Strike output. So we have to overwrite I think it's called the text writer. But in that, so if we do, I think we can do console and then set out, and then just give it the beacon console, and that will work just fine. So that's sort of a trick I found out. So this will basically override every set the output for all calls to console write line to be this, and therefore it will appear in the buff. That's an easy one. So for funness sake, we could test this for sure. But we could also look at, you know, just doing the right. So we have a couple of specific Cobalt Strike integration functions that he supplies, just not other than the write line, and that is send screenshot, send keystroke, download file, send hashes. And these will of course you know, be sent back to specific places within Cobalt Strike. And I think download file is the most you know, generic one that we can use, and I'm guessing that's also accessible within Beacon console, or is that API download? API Beacon console download? No, is it just download then? So where is that reference from? Let's see. BuffNet buff object class implementation. Okay. Implements functionality. Okay, so it should be in this. It is not. API. Okay. That's interesting. So let's go hunting for that. I don't think there was an example with that. The beacon object class, which should be this, right, implements functionality to allow a custom implementation of screenshots, file names, and memory. Okay, so either he's thinking that, you know, we should rip those out from the actual BuffNet C# library, or we should just be able to reference them. So I'm going to do a dirty search here on GitHub just for that function, see what's going on. So it's in the, it is in the beacon object. It is there. Protected void. So I'm wondering, could I just rip this out? Or should I just be able to reference it from the beacon API? Hey, congratulations, dude. Happy you could catch one live, man. Okay, so I think we'll take a stab at just implementing this function because this is a bit weird. Because we should be able to access these, right? Okay. Actually, might be that the library I have is old. Yeah, that might be it. Okay, so that's it. Okay, that's the tricky one. So apparently he added support for sending screenshots, downloading files 2 months ago, but he hasn't uploaded the DLL that I'm using. That's 7 months old. So that's why I can't find the functions I'm looking for. So that's a nice one that I checked that. So we have to go in now into the project and recompile it so we can actually access stuff. Could have been stuck there for a while. So that's a good note to have. Maybe you ran into this problem implementing botnets yourself. Okay. So let's just do a release for this. And this is probably at 4.52 or something right now. Oh, my VMs are so fast, guys. It's amazing. Okay, so it's a class library. Where's the target framework? Why doesn't it show up as a target framework? Okay, maybe it does multiple. Yeah, so it actually yeah, okay, that's fine. So but it did compile the first one, so that should be fine. Botnet bin release net4. So it did compile this one. Right, 615, that's now. Yep, it did. So we should be able to just copy this one back into this, overwrite this one. There we go. And then I'm not sure if I have to update the reference here or if okay, did it find it instantly? Yeah, okay. So it found it instantly. That's cool. Awesome. Right, so now we have to download a file with a given file name from the output of SharpHound. So we have to find where SharpHound actually does the file write and then do the same thing, right? Tape storage speeds. Okay, so let's, I'll guess we'll just dig down through SharpHound there, right? So argument parsing, some options. There's probably like a final execute at the end here. Starting to loop waiting, loop finish. Save cache. Special ones we have all zip files here per loop. Could just look for file write operations actually. That would probably be the best. So let's first comment out this cache. We don't want that. Collapse zip files, that's probably, yeah, that's probably just zipping already existing files. Why, that would be nice, but we want to do this all in memory, so we would actually want to avoid that as well. But we are looking for file write operations here. So this looks to be the main loop. Blah blah blah, get cache include output. Thinking. Let's just search the whole fucking directory here. File write. There's probably some reference to JSON somewhere. And not found. That's the zip stuff. That's the zip stuff. That's the read all bytes. That's for the cache file. We would like write all byte. Okay. That's weird because it has to write something and it has to write it with a .json at the end. So you should be able to find it just by brute forcing like this. Damn, this is not great. There we go. Create file, JSON text file. Okay, this is it. This is it. So file name, that's fine. File exists, and then it does a stream writer, and then it writes the. Okay, so this we don't want to avoid this. So instead of doing a stream write to an actual file name, we want to reference that download function. So let's see how many people reference this create file function. JSON write, okay, so that's the count. And then it's referenced for user groups and stuff, right? So this would be a. So that's just closing the writer, that's fine. So I think actually in create file here might be the correct way to do it. Which is in output tasks, so I should have been able to cut that earlier. Let's re-implement that same beacon object. And see if we can do it that way, or if we have to pull the function itself out back to that main one. Might have to do that, we'll see. Okay, right, because this, I think this references. Okay, I think we actually have to pull it back out. So this, I think we're going to pull this one out to both sharp like this, and then make it a public one. And then obviously it has a bunch of fucking global references. That's awesome. Thank you for the follow. And the only one is the used file names add. Her. Definitely something we can do about that. So JSON writer would have to make that back into so it would be like so the file name would go here, and then it's supposed to take a stream, right? So I think that's just to stream, to array, write token, stream, data formation, write end constructor. Okay, so we probably want to do stream writer instead. Yeah. And then read to end, right? I don't think toString is it. Base string? Hmm. Hmm. This sort of worries me a bit. Maybe we should step one out. Right, because this would do JSON file writer. We should reference this, and then the base name would be in there. So we. I do know a Knut. There's many Knuts. I am Knut. Just trying to think here. So could do it here as well. So that JSON is part of this class. We can't just reference that, right? I'm not being stupid here. I can't just reference that like this. Both SharpHound. I could probably though. Download file. One download file. Could probably do that. That might work. Okay, let's try that. So let's just copy this thing right back where it was. Which was someplace here, right? So I think it was in this class. Pretty sure it was in this class. I'm gonna put an internal. There we go. And then, wondering if I could do like public static one download file. But this ain't a static class, and I can't make it static, so I would have to initiate a new one. Right, because I don't think I can make this static. Yeah, then this abstract will complain. I can't make this static, right? No, it will complain. Oh no, that should be fine, because okay, that should be fine actually. That should be fine. That should be fine. Yeah. Whoop. Yeah, that works fine. Awesome. So now we just have to take the same input as download file. Oh no, it's gonna complain about that, right? It's totally gonna complain about that. Yeah, it's totally going to complain about that. No, it's not. String volume. And then just a stream, right? Stream volume. And we can just pass these two straight into here. Yeah, it's gonna complain. Can I do this? This is a mean one. Can I give it to this? Okay, that might work. Just pass it on down the line. That might actually work. That might totally work, actually. Might be super janky, but work. Okay, so output tasks, final references. Is that just a static or what the fuck? Blind builder. Phrase enumeration pipeline. We're not really interested in doing PS1, so that's fine. Complete output. Enumeration finished. That's all the close riders, and that's all the new. Okay, cool. Yeah, 100% we should be doing this. Now I should be able to just make like a forwarder, right? Public void download file, and then in here I'll just do the download file, string name, and then string data. Okay. Not sure if that will work. We'll see. It's resolved, and it's just complaining about arguments. So that's nice. New JSON file writer, and that will actually create a file, which we can then intercept, right? Because, yeah, 100%. Not sure if that gets closed or what's the point of these. Because this doesn't return anything. Oh, that's just an instantiation of the class. So that's obviously not going to return anything. I just love making up crap as I go along. gonna have to fix this, but that's fine. For now, what I'm basically doing is just trying to parse that initialization, or that sort of, you know, that initialized object of the class buff SharpHound, which contains the reference to the abstract class that has the function download file, down all the way so I can actually give it some data. And now it's complaining because I'm giving it a JSON text writer and I want to stream. So I'm just gonna Google JSON text writer to stream. Wow, this music wasn't exactly. Could be better. Sorry about that. JSON writer, new JSON writer based on string writer. That's fine. Oh yeah, Newton soft text writer. Who stream? Any other way? But I don't get it though. Where's the fucking data coming from? You, that's a new user. Where the fuck does that you go? That's a group output, is a value create and value close writer. And then that group output gets this. It kind of has to work, so. I think I'll just accept it and see what I can do with it on this side. So that's JSON text writer. So let's just do that. Oh, wait, what? It accepts anything? Oh no, it's referencing itself, lol. So beacon object. Set download file, and then I'll create this to download file, and then that's gonna complain. That's fine. I think I could just try to cast it to stream. That will not work. That's gonna fuck up some data for sure. Yeah, I want it work. Jason Text Writer. Get a stream from Jason Text Writer. Flush. There we go. There we go. Public override to string. Maybe I can just serialize it. No, that isn't it. Fuck's sake. Is it just two string? If it's just two string, I'm gonna be mad. If that's the case, me mad. Hmm. 110% this shouldn't work. No way this is gonna work. Okay, let's give it some arguments and test then. So args equals the string, which would be this computer into main jobs, it won't work. Maybe I can just do help. No, that won't work either. I actually have to test it on the main job computer. Okay, let's compile this and see what happens. Okay, let's see. So let's release build this. This is super sketch. Okay, let's see. So it's failed. Why? Yeah, okay, I need to remove this. Or is that how that come in? Yeah, I can't remove that. Oh, fuck off. Why is that saying is it not public? It's public. It's a public class. Why can you not see that? That's warnings. That's fine. Those are also kind of sort of fine. Why can't you find the reference to it? Namespace, SharpHound, I don't get that. Does a namespace have to be public? Yeah, I was like, what? No idea why this doesn't show up. Okay, so it isn't in the same namespace, that's why. But still though, it should be fine. Yeah, it is in the same fucking namespace. Oh, what the fuck are you doing to me, SharpHound? Stop being a dick. Yeah, I get that. So that's technically fine, but then this complains because the type or namespace. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, it's because the class name is the same as the namespace. No, it isn't. It's because it's static? No, that doesn't make any sense. Oh my god, this is a failure. The type or namespace above sharp entry could not be found. Are you missing a directory or assembly reference? And then literally within the same namespace. Sorry, you can't type links here, man. They get blocked. The type or namespace above sharp entry could not be found. Could not navigate to it, but it's here and it's within the same namespace and it's public. Why is this an issue? Why would this be an issue? Why would this be an issue? No, I'm not. So in this class, output tasks. I mean, it makes sense in that term, but I mean, now it doesn't make sense anymore because now it should definitely find it. Okay, I'm gonna just give Visual Studio a restart here because this is weird, and I have no idea why suddenly this was an issue. Save. First, I want to save. Might have to be another approach to get that SharpHound output. We'll see. The stupid way, or I wouldn't be stupid at all. Actually. Okay, actually, let's just do that. Unless it compiles now. Hey, what do you know? It compiles. More or less. If it compiles now, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, let's take a step back. So this was apparently a very stupid idea. Let's forget about that. Let's just copy this. And then go and then just delete it. And then go into SharpHound. And then this is the main entry point. Then there we go. Thank you. Public. Just gotta go this and then public SharpHound. Let's try this instead and see if this goes better. Why is this suddenly bad? Oh, it ain't async. We could split that up. Public static or public async task. There's always some struggle on this stream. Okay, so now it's going to complain about that. That should be this. No, it shouldn't. No, it needs something. So it needs that. Okay, yeah, that's because this needs SharpHound now. And the reason I'm doing that is because stuff ain't static, basically. Okay. Does that mean this compiles now? No, it does not. That's fine. That's also fine. Yeah, it doesn't have a download file. Should have a download file though, right? Yeah. But it just needs to do some more funky dory stuff, so then we'll just rip out this again. Isn't that accessible due to its protection level? It's a protected void. Why do you do everything so difficult? Or in the class derived from the class. Okay. So this basically does not work. For us to do this, we would have to do unprotected download file. And then in SharpHound we would have to create that. So public void unprotected string file name stream data. And then inside here, since you're now in this class, we can do the file name data. Okay, let's see. Does that float your boat? Oh, come on. Stream. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Be nice. Hey, it compiled. That's something. I do not think this will work though. We'll see. Okay, let's show you how I can actually set up the buff stuff in Cobalt Strike. Okay, so we need a couple of files. So we need the SharpHound DLL, which should now be in release of this one. I'll just copy that to desktop for now, and then in the BuffNet folder we need everything in the distribution section. So we need these two pre-compiled. You can modify the code and recompile these if you want to. Then you have the CNA and the DLL that precompile. Let's pull that out there and then move that into there, so everything is nicely there. And then I'll move that over to my Linux machine. Just give me a second, I'll move it out through my host machine, and there we go. We are in my Linux machine. Let's just put that straight on the desktop here, since we don't care. And then let's load the CNA. So buffnet.cna, and then of course we need to get a beacon. So I thought that we would actually try to work against Defender today. That would be a bit cool. So let's see if Defender is running. Yeah, it's running over on the attacker machine. Let's host our payload. So nope, there we go. Super nice PowerShell, and then that's our IP, that's our port one listen on. That's actually the correct IP, so that's fine. And then let's use the 64-bit one, and let's launch it, and we'll give us something. Now you'll notice that if I'll go into my lab now and just launch this, obviously that won't work. It will get detected as a virus. And there we go, threat found. So we need to patch out AMSI before doing so. So the way we do that is that we go over to AMSI fail, which is a project of mine that generates pre-obfuscated snippets of code that will break AMSI. Let's choose the Rastamas one. Okay, let's click next until the Rastamas one comes up. Oh wait, was that two? Why is there two? No, okay, sorry. Oh, I'm drunk. Never mind. Let's copy this in here. Copy. And there we go. Now AMSI is officially dead. And now if we run the exact same command, you'll see that we'll get a shell and we won't get nuked, which is pretty interesting. Or we should get a shell, unless my listener IP doesn't correlate anymore, which might be the case. IP address is 58.133. Let's check the listeners here. Well, that's correct, 443. So why do I get nothing here? Can it reach it? It can. So it should totally work. I do not think it has anything to do with the real-time protection stuff, but let's turn it off just in case. Then the last couple of streams I have had really bad luck with getting stuff to work on the first try. I mean, it's just working against me. There we go. Okay, so I guess it was Defender then. Interesting. Oh, I know why. Lol, I'm such a stupid man. The reason why is because the script I ran starts a new PowerShell process, which does not have AMSI patched. So let's turn this back on, and then let's repatch AMSI. So let's copy this again. My bad. I'm just late. I'm just yeah, just doing mistakes. So let's copy the AMSI bypass again. AMSI is now patched. If I write AMSI, yeah, for sure. If I had AMSI and it failed, it will not complain about it being malicious. Just it doesn't exist. And then if I go to this command that I ran, but I remove this new stuff, so I'll just do this. So just the download client stuff. So just this. That should work just fine, and I should get a shell back, and I did. Awesome. And this shell is now running with Defender bypassed. Okay, so what would happen if I would try to do a normal execute assembly now is that it would just instantly get nuked. I will lose my access. Let's try to use BuffNet. That is a fair point though. I'll take that for sure. But yeah, that is a fair point. Okay. So since we now have the script BuffNet initialized, we can type buff init or buffnet init. And that will initialize the C# runtime in our process, which either killed the process or it's just thinking. Did that kill the process? Am I doing something wrong then? Okay. Talk about mistakes and errors. Let's try this again. I'm gonna disable Defender for now, just to make sure that I ain't missing something here. Might be something. I have a feeling that wasn't Defender, but Buffnet. Either me just fucking something up. Okay, so apparently that was Defender. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, so I think I did a stream a while back with, you know, the authentication, I can't even say it, ADCS stuff, right? Where you request a certificate from the enrollment server because automatic enrollment is on. And I had a lot of issues the first 40 minutes, but I actually had people come to me later and saying, hey, thank you so much for that, because I also experienced some of those issues and my videos helped them troubleshoot. So that's actually a fair point. I'll take that. I'll take it. Okay, so now that we have the Buffnet runtime initialized, we can... Awesome, yeah. So now we can do... I think we should be able to do Buffnet load and then load any assembly we want. So let's load our SharpHound assembly. I think that's the SharpHound with the big everything. And then, hey, Martin, hello. Martin in the chat. And then I think it's list assemblies. Buffnet. There we go. And we should see nothing. Yeah. Way back when I did this, you know, a lot. Thank you. I was really on a roll, but now it's just... Okay, so what is going on here? Why am I not getting any output when I clearly just loaded an assembly? Okay, maybe the CNA doesn't match up with the DLL. Maybe the CNA is old as well. I have no idea why I ain't getting any information back. Let me just check that the beacon is working properly. It is. Well, I am very happy with all you people saying that you learn a lot from my struggles, though. I'm just super happy. I mean, the last couple of streams I've had like 25 people watching and I had a conversation going in chat. That's great. I love that. Makes it a lot easier for me to answer stuff and come up with stuff when people are active in the chat and watching. So for some reason, the buff load stuff ain't working that great. Let me try something I played with last week, which did work great, which is my implementation of Sharp Chrome with buff, which I know works. So let's just see if that works or if there's something I'm doing wrong. If that doesn't work, then there's something I'm doing wrong. Release. Hey, there's a debug buff here. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think that's why. I think SharpHound is pretty big. Yeah, okay. So, okay, this is why. That's why. The help menu always helps. Weird, right? So we need to use the load big command because the load big wasn't that literally the command I just watched? Load big. Load big. Unknown command. Did I unload the script? No, I did not. Dude, what is this? Okay, what is going on here? Unknown command. What are you talking about? Yeah, this is 100% something with the CNA. Let me nuke that. Actually, both of these are old. Let's nuke those. Let's unload the script. And let's try again. Something is wrong here. So I just now realized that I need to use the freshly compiled DLL. So it's not in dist, it's in managed, BOFnet, bin, release, net4. I need to use this one and this one, which we just recently created. There we go. So that's probably why I'm using an all DLL. Why? I don't get it. I thought the wasn't the whole point? There's a command called load big. What is going on? Okay, so he has a command called... Okay, so this is something in the framework. So apparently... apparently there is a command called bofnet underscore load big, but it isn't defined in the CNA, even though it's defined on the website and in the help. Wow. This is a struggle. Again, yeah, so he's referencing load big, but it doesn't exist. So the main reason why SharpHound doesn't work with this is because it's more than 1 megabyte. So even though I load it, it doesn't appear. So okay, let me show you something that does work. This is technically bad research on my side, because I should have checked that CCOB, I know he had the load big one, but I should have checked that he actually had it created, not just listed as a function, but not an actual function. So let me show you, I created this week, which is a BOFnet implementation of Sharp Chrome. And I created that because I'm working on a client where, you know, the EDR solution is, again, not allowing me to do fork and runs, and therefore I have to use this. So let's try again. BOFnet, load, and then I'll import Sharp Chrome. There we go. If I do BOFnet list, we should now see that we don't have jack shit. List assemblies. Okay, I don't know. Let's go this way. It's just one of those days, huh? Let's try and kill this one and remove it. And let's try to initialize the runtime again. This is a rough one, peeps. So I'm running in PowerShell 6-bit process. I can do BOFnet in it. And then I can do load. And then I can load something that I legitimately used yesterday or sometime this week called sharpchrome.dll. Attempting to load large net assembly into BOFnet. It's not a 1 megabyte one. So it says attempting. Oh, it's dead. So when I initialize the runtime, it dies. Hold that thought, people. Does this happen from Let's try, I'm gonna try my botnet. Both init. There we go. Okay, so maybe this has something to do with PowerShell? Since PowerShell already has the .NET runtime initiated? Let's see, okay, so let's do botnet load now. And let's try Sharp Chrome first. Loaded. Botnet. List. Works fucking fine. Okay, now the problem is that I can't run Sharp Chrome because on this lab machine I do actually have cookies and login information that are valid, so I won't show you that. But I can try to run the freaking thing we tried in the first place, which would be the SharpHound implementation. So I think the from what I understand, what is happening here is simply that the you can't do this with, I guess it's rather obvious. You can't do this in a process where the .NET runtime is already where the .NET time assembly is already initialized. I guess that makes sense, right? Oh, sorry. .NET list, and now we should see, yeah, there's my SharpHound implementation. Okay. .NET execute. Let's see if the console redirects. Yeah, console redirects just fucking fine. Wow, people. Okay. Okay. So, we learned something today. Yeah, so the main, again, this is the same that happened last stream. Had a struggle, still a mistake. So we tried, the reason we had issues loading both our assemblies is because we tried to do it from a process that already had the .NET runtime initialized from before. That won't work. I'm pretty sure botnet pretty much told us this, right? It says initializing botnet, host called home, and it didn't show us the successfully initialized message. So again, my bad, all me. Now I gotta change. I want to see if the output works, if the download file stuff works. That would be super cool if that worked. I do not think it will, but we'll see. I just have to make sure that the DNS records for this machine points to the DC, so it understands that it's a part of a domain. Or it won't. Let's try again. Hey, okay. Obviously didn't prompt us for download, so that part didn't work. So this probably, yeah, dropped the disk, so that's not great. So we will need to look at how to implement that better. But the console output works, for sure. And that's a pretty fix as well. That's just a one line to get that working. Okay. Well, that's at least something. Okay, so let's just find this. I don't want to spend too much more time on it. Maybe I'll do a blog post or something instead, so I can take my time and sort of the entire solution, please. Compressing data to resolve file name, zip name, and then it does the get random file name. That's fine. New file name, blah blah. If file exists, zip stream. Oh, password for zip stream. Awesome. And then for each used file name, which is the main one, so we did here and we did download file. if not 0. So find all references. So there definitely is a couple of references where those aren't included because it's at the top here. Okay. Yeah, so I think oh. Right object computer. Yeah. I think I would have to. So I thought maybe SharpHound used something called, well, it uses Newtonsoft, but there's a way easier, there's a way easier way to serialize an object by just doing JSON convert serialized object. They're doing it through specific JSON text writers and stuff, which I'm not super familiar with. So I think I would have to do some testing, actually install Visual Studio on the main joint machine, and then debug through it to try to find out where the data ends up, so I can actually give it to that download function correctly. But I mean, it's super easy. So in general, if you just want to take a C# assembly that doesn't drop anything to disk and just show the output, it's this line right here. Console set out and then to the beacon console, and that will overwrite the text writer for the console, and everything will just appear in the Cobble-Strike terminal or interaction menu. And then you just parse it on. So that's pretty straightforward. Another thing, if you want to be more self, so I don't know if you saw that, but BoffNet loads with the default app domain name of BoffNet. So actually, maybe I can show you that here. Well, I don't have process hacker on it, but you definitely want to change that. So I think that would be changeable in managed, no, in unmanaged. So I think that's app domain name. I think we can just, I think if you just do like a replace for BoffNet inside here, you'll pretty much get it. Yeah, BoffNet runtime. BoffNet runtime initializer. If you basically just change BoffNet.boff to whatever else you want, it will look much better. Hey, nice. Another pro tip in terms of detection is that a lot of the, or most of the stuff, Ghost Pack releases, they release together with the signature detection in this jar file here, and it's usually just the GUID of the project. So if you can do that's a super easy way to just get around signatures, just replacing this GUID with any other GUID and you're good. At least for that specific detection. So obviously there are other detections within Rubius. You could take a look at my obfuscation project as well if you want to do some sort of dynamic obfuscation at the before compile or something. Definitely ways you can. I mean, if you guys have any questions or suggestions for next stream, hit me. Anything. I don't care if it's if you think it's stupid, a stupid question or a stupid suggestion or anything. I need something, people. I'm running out of ideas here. Showcasing other people's tools. SharpC2 also made some major changes yesterday before I went on vacation. He basically implemented the whole mini-hook library, and it's a fucking killer of a C2. If it wasn't before, it's definitely now in terms of features on the beacon side or the drone side, which he calls it. Still has a long way to go in terms of OPSEC considerations, though. I definitely wouldn't use something like this on an engagement right now. Hence why people are using Cobble-Strike, which is a paid license software, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think I've been struggling enough for today, to be honest. Again, any questions, suggestions, hit me up on Twitter or just now in the Twitch chat. I mean, I'll try if anybody have something specific, they for sure. Sharp C2 is a beast of a C2. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. We have a really high viewer count. Damn. Again, any feedback on these videos would be deeply appreciated. Either in the comment section on YouTube, hit me on DMs on Twitter, whatever. I'm all open for suggestions. Hey, Olaf, thanks, man. You just tuned in. Oh, damn. Sunday reports, huh? That sucks. I've been lucky on my past couple of gigs. I wasn't the lead on any of them, so I'll just I'll just write my part and send it over to the team lead, and maybe I have to do some revisions later. But other than that, I'm pretty good. I think I'm getting rather up to speed now on the reporting stuff. It's a whole, like, reporting is one thing. It's a whole other sort of logistical aspect in the way, you know, TrustedSec does it. So that's something to set in. Yeah, I tried to come up with something. Olaf's just lurking in the background here, trying to see if he can catch something. Yeah, we didn't do much today. We did get it running though, but God, what a pain. The thing is that as much as I would like to prepare for these streams, I do not prepare anything. Like, I might pull up the GitHub, you know, sometime before the stream, but generally I don't do any preparation at all. I guess in some aspects, when I end up doing a lot of troubleshooting, it's great because a lot of people can, you know, use that as reference when they're having issues or whatever. But I mean, as soon as I start doing more preparations, I start doing like thumbnails and stuff, it's going to be more work. Yeah, right. So yeah, sure. We might be able to look at that next week. Sure thing. So, wow, the coursing, that's a solid question here. So I'll definitely take a look at the mini hook module next time, maybe. If not something more interesting catches my eye, but that's something we could look into. Maybe hooking some, you know, yeah, basic stuff. Yeah, or get a racer mouse and use the super easy Privesk. So online courses, I don't know about bug bountying, but for pen testing, again, I guess the Red Team Operations course by Rastamas is a bit too much if you're doing pen testing. But in terms of worth of money, a lot of the Hack the Box labs are great. I mean, the Hack the Box is in general very good if you want to get into security, but a lot of the boxes are very CTF-like, or some of them are CTF-like, and doesn't really. Sure, you can get some technical skills out of it for sure, but it doesn't really reflect a lot of the stuff you'll meet in the real world, right? It's a whole mindset, right? If I were pretty good at Hack the Box back in the day, but now if I were to go back to it, I would totally suck because my mindset is just, it's a whole other thing. I would look for typical things I find on engagements and not typical things you should look for when you're doing CTFs. But with that said, the Hack the Box labs are amazing. Personally, I think I've done two. So I've done the, let's see, it's a long time since I've been on Hack the Box here. Let me sign in and I get the names of these labs. So I've done, ooh, I have to log in. I can't even see it without logging in. Give me a second here. I think there's one called Cybernetics, and that's one me and a couple of buddies spent weeks on. It's a hard ass lab, but that really takes you through the phases of a lot of stuff. So that's fine. Pro Labs. It's called Pro Labs, right? So Rust Labs is probably the most familiar one. Sure thing, right? So yeah. So Rust Labs, I think, is the one that most people start on. It's intermediate lab. Okay, so Dante maybe the one to start on, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about the Rust lab, and then obviously the cybernetics labs is just fucking insane. I should probably do. I see there's an APT labs as well. That'd be super cool doing that. Okay, cool. Maybe I should get into taking a look at APT labs. We'll see. Okay, no worries. The boxes are great. Again, the boxes are a very great way to build up a buffer of technical knowledge that will definitely help you. But once you get into the labs, you sort of have to, especially Active Directory, you have to sort of set you into very specific attack techniques and methods we use on a daily basis as a pen tester. Yeah, Dante would be a great start. And I mean, in the end, so I have a split sort of feeling on this. But a lot of people, if you're competing in Hack the Box, you should 100% try to do as much of it as yourself. But if you're a beginner and you're learning, I mean, ask for help. I'm not. There's a very fine line between being stuck for 2 minutes and asking for help and not learning anything from it. But if you're stuck and you're wasting time and you need a nudge, just ask for help. In the end, if you're competing on Hack the Box, it's different. But mainly, Hack the Box is for learning. And being stuck for 8-10 hours, sure, there's a learning experience behind there. But in general, you would be better off by just getting a nudge and putting yourself on the right track and keeping that in mind for next time you're doing enumeration. Okay, I should definitely look past this or look over this. But yeah, Dante, I haven't done Dante, but if it's a beginner lab in Hack the Box, I sure go for it, right? Now the courses are great. Personally, I'm not a big fan of OCP at all. I have done my OCP, but I think it's not bad or anything. Everybody loves it, so I'm not gonna badmouth OCP. But my experience with the course was, it's, even though it's updated, it's somewhat outdated. The boxes in the exam fucking crashed all the time. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I agree with both those statements in terms of make sure time verify, right? How you want to spend? Yeah, right. So the main sort of concept for you would be to so like when you're a penetration tester internally, you're taking on large size networks, right? And you want to have some sort of methodology that you constantly go over and you cover the biggest bases in the shortest amount of time. That's, even though it sounds sad, that's generally what a pen tester does, right? They aren't there to be stealthy. They aren't there to backdoor documents and drop persistency everywhere. They're just, yeah, right. Both the Hack the Box Discord server and the Trusted Egg Discord server are great. Sure, let me plug the Discord one. Oh, Olaf, we can't talk about that right now. No, I'm kidding. So, yes, I have looked into C3. The company I work for have looked into C3. But I am. It would be super cool, but yeah, no, there's not a Discord for the Flangvik channel, but I could totally create that. I haven't even thought about that being a thing yet. But you know what? I'll create that. Fuck yeah, let's go. Why not, right? Sure thing. Join the Flangvik server. Let's go. But yeah, so Olaf, seriously though, it would be super cool to talk about C3, and we could definitely go through some of the existing channels. It is C though, and I'm not an expert at C by any means, but I think it's it's definitely something we could take a look at in terms of the concept, right? I know there's I played around with something called Sharp External C2, which is a sharp representation of connecting to Cobalt Strike and using name pipes on the beacon side to sort of create your own communication channels. That was really cool as well. I created some, I guess exclusively I created some C2 traffic going over service bus in Azure using that technique. Yeah, which was really cool. It was hella expensive, and I got a huge fucking bill from Azure after playing with it for a couple of weeks. But it was super cool, super reliable. But yeah, damn, people joining. Yeah, right. I guess in the back end there are a lot of similar things going on. Is it though? Yeah. Okay. So you're totally right. Azure is I would never host critical infrastructure in Azure right now, but I have I have a few things that I still do in Azure, and I have a large framework internally that I'm working on now that is Azure oriented. But it's less critical, and I've had to make efforts to make sure that Azure doesn't straight up look through it as malicious. It has to be so generic that you can't sort of contemplate this being specifically malicious. There's still ways of going about that, and I have no plans on stopping writing the Azure domains until it's impossible. It's just such a huge thing. But for instance, the last couple of weeks, just creating plain storage accounts, hosting payloads, a fucking no-go. You're getting nuked straight up. Right, so, wow, good question, sir. So, Microsoft 365 is pretty neat, though, for sure, yeah. So, there's definitely still like a legitimacy behind their domains and services that I would like to borrow as a red teamer. Off topic, but DevOps stream of source would be nice as well, setting up pipelines and so forth. That is actually huge. So I have been thinking about doing this for a long time, making a proper stream, maybe doing a proper preparation, and going through the Sharp collection setup so people can replicate that internally. Because I know a lot of people, like the big people like SpectreOps and Black Hills, all have internal repos that automatically generate binaries and obfuscate them internally. But I guess a lot of lesser, sort of, I wouldn't say so much sure, but a lot of other companies maybe doesn't have that. And I do have like this great template that I use for pipelines that does exactly this. I have to clean it up though, but yeah, that's a huge stream idea, and I have been thinking about it. I need to get that done at some point. Okay, so last two questions there were just across domain fronting, right? So the reason my storage account got nuked is that I connected a domain front to it, and then that got the attention of Azure or Microsoft, and it got nuked. But I have heard about people hosting stuff in storage accounts and just straight up getting nuked. I'm guessing that they do regular sort of signature scans on storage accounts, and yeah, they'll nuke shit real fast if stuff gets detected. So I would not host anything unencrypted. That's a keyword there. I wouldn't host anything unencrypted on a storage account these days. What would you host your critical info on these days, if you can share that is, right? So I don't think I need to say it. There are like they're basically three main cloud providers, right? Azure has taken active measures to avoid C2 hosting. The two remaining big cloud providers have not, in terms of that they don't actively go out and look for it. But if they get a proper complaint, maybe not as much as a cease and desist, but more like a just a abuse complaint, right? They will take action on it. So it's more of as a legal guy doing hacking, it's more of having a dialogue with your customer and letting him know that, hey, if you see people trying to fucking send out cease and desists against my infrastructure, maybe time to intervene there, right? I mean, I want to keep one of the major perks of being a white hat, which is being able to use the infrastructure without going to jail, right? Yeah, so I mean, any other cloud provider will do. Real proper attackers just break into shitty web servers and use them anyway, so I mean, it's, yeah. So Vaded, I have my own CDI pipeline for GitLab, but I have no idea how it works at this point. If it ever stops working, I'm fucked. So I can definitely recall that. It was a period during my summer vacation where let me just, there we go, always show. So there was this period during my vacation where I didn't look at the pipelines for a while. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And basically had to redo the whole thing. Yeah, so I hear a lot of people talking about the process of pipelines. That'd be cool for sure. Can definitely look into doing that. Okay, sure, maybe I'll do that next stream then. Maybe I'll do some preparation. I'll clean up my template and PowerShell script, and I'll show you how I do it in Azure DevOps. And that should pretty much be, you should be able to translate that into GitLab or wherever. Pretty nice perk, gotcha. There has been a lot of news. There's been a lot about Azure in the news for a while. I wasn't sure if they usually look like from the other providers. Well, Yeah, I mean Azure, the whole thing started with domain fronting, right? So we have been red teamers, and maybe red teamers, maybe even assume breached penetration testers have been abusing domain fronting for quite a while, and according to Microsoft, we have been the main abusers and not actual elite, not actual threats, not actual black hat hackers has been using Azure and Microsoft that much as we have. Again, because they have the perks of being able to illegally breach servers and just ride that domain, while of course we have to stay within our scope. And then it's a bit funny because I did a big blog post on domain fronting with something called Azure Relay, basically an Azure function that redirects traffic, much like everybody's probably used to using the Apache mod rewrite stuff, where you generate like a redirection rules based on your C2 profile, you smack that into Apache and you're good to go. I did something like that, but with an Azure function in Azure, which I am not going to say that I specifically triggered the whole thing, because I'm not a big enough name, or I don't have that kind of impact at all, in no way. But in less than 5 days after that blog post, they fucking nuked domain fronting. So that was a bit funny. We had a laugh internally about me killing domain fronting because of that. But yeah, we'll see. But domain fronting is definitely a no-go. They 100% actively monitor the data flowing over fronted domains. When you change the host header, they 100% monitor that, and they will. I have gotten a couple of subscriptions nuked. They will nuke them. So do not do domain fronting in Azure more. No more. There's no point. And yeah, free payloads given to MS, right? And it's easy to get lazy with storage accounts. It's so easy to spin up, open a container, make it public, host whatever you want. Usually, almost always gets past the internal web proxy for the company, because it's a solid domain. I mean, it's a Windows.net domain, right? Why would you blacklist that? For sure. That said, say goodbye to your account in a week. Yeah. So for sure, right? So you could probably get it up and running, but it's a short while that it gets nuked. Okay, so a lot of people joined the Discord. Let me post that link again if more people want to join. It's pretty cool that you guys wanted, or that's a solid suggestion of a Discord. I mean, I'm trying to grow the community, so why not, right? I'll get some stuff going there, channels, voice channels, maybe do some roles and stuff. Sure, why not? But yeah, it does sound like the next stream will be about my pipelines for sure. Yeah. Damn, mouse cat. It's that, right? It's music issues. Monster cat, sorry. Monster cat music is just good these days. I mean, listen to this. It's pretty decent. Yeah. Sure thing. I've been putting sort of medium efforts into both my Twitch channel, my YouTube channel, and everything. But right now I'm starting to get some traffic, so I might actually go all in and update the descriptions, get a proper team, get stuff rolling. Might do that for sure. If there's interest, why not? But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. I really appreciate the talk. I mean, if you have any questions that, if you have questions that come up during the week, bring them up, man. I love chatting like this. I could sit and chat like this for hours. It's so nice. But yeah, thank you so much for joining in today. I really appreciate it. Same time next Sunday. That's 4 p.m. UTC time, 12 p.m. Central US time, I think, right? Well, I'll see you next Sunday. Thank you so much for joining in. And yeah, have a great week, guys. Monday tomorrow, big day. Awesome, peeps. Talk later. Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye.